Nigerians, please help me. Help me. Yesterday, I met a civil servant in church in Abuja. He gave testimony. This civil servant works in one of the federal MDAs, agencies, and his salary is 250,000 naira per month. His wife also is a civil servant, the same salary, 250,000 naira, although she works in a different agency. They have 4 children. 2 of their children are in the university. The other 2 are in secondary school. The 2 children in the university attend private universities. One is Bayes University, the other one is Covenant University. The combined annual school fees and all for the 2 children in the university is 14 million naira. Meanwhile, the combined salary of this civil servant with his wife is 500,000 naira per month. That's 6 million per annum. Meanwhile, aside for these 2 children in the university, this civil servant has 2 other children in the secondary school. Those ones need to pay school fees. They live in a rented apartment. They need to pay rent. They live in a good area of Abuja, where rent is about 2 million, 2.5 million for a 2-bedroom. They have to fuel their car, they have to pay for transportation, they have to feed, they have to do all that. On a salary of 6 million naira combined for husband and wife in a year. How are they able to do it that they are able to pay 14 million naira for 2 children alone in the university? The thing troubled me. So I asked him, how are you able to do it? He laughed and replied and said, "Na God, oh, God has been faithful." I couldn't ask any further question, but in my mind I was still troubled. And I said, let me ask you, maybe you can help me make sense of this. Is it truly God? Or is there something else? If it is God, how is it that God is able to do it for him? Explain to me, because I know many other civil servants who will need God to help them like that. While you help me, there are other questions that are still bothering me. Why will a civil servant on a salary combined for husband and wife of 6 million naira per annum per year send their children to a private university for 14 million that is beyond their salary? Why would they do that? Is it because in the private university they teach them some invention techniques that they will use to invent things to make Nigeria better that are not taught in the public universities? Is that why? Or is it that when they go to private universities, then they stand a better chance to succeed in life better than students that go to public universities? I was thinking to myself, and one idea came up. Could it be that they are just sending their children to these expensive universities just to show off, just to give the impression that they are doing well? Is it that they are trying to hide their shame? They feel ashamed that if people get to know that their children attend public university, then they will consider them as people who are not giving their children quality education. Is this why? So many questions in my head. And then I thought, what if there was a law that makes it mandatory for every civil servant to send their children to public schools mandatorily? What if we had such a law? Will it help? Because if a civil servant is ashamed to allow others to find out that their children go to public school, would it not be better? Will it not help if it was now a law such that The civil servant can hide behind the law and say, oh, it is a law, that's why we are sending our children to public schools. That's on the one hand. Would it not also help that the people in charge of Nigeria's education system, if they are forced to send their children to public school, then those people, instead of siphoning and looting and embezzling the funds for education, those people will now be forced to use those funds to develop our education system, considering that their children also attend such school. So would it not help that we make it a law to mandate every public servant, civil servant, to send their children to public schools? This is one of the ideologies of the Abundance Party of Nigeria. A civil servant on a salary of 6 million combined, husband and wife, sending their children to a university where they pay 14 million for just 2 of them. That civil servant good thief. Forget all this. Now God is faithful. He must put his hand into corruption. So allowing public servants, civil servants to send their children to private schools, whether in Nigeria or abroad, in fact, that abroad one self is even worse. Apart from putting pressure on our naira, it also gives them escape route. So they don't even bother to fix our educational system in Nigeria. So that kind of public servant, will he not put his hand in bad things? He go look for a way now. He go find means. And that means cannot be God, or can it? This is why you must join us to form the Abundance Party of Nigeria. We must form it. It's a people's party. And there are other beautiful ideologies. Political party reform ideologies. Like zero nomination form fees. Zero expression of interest fees. Direct primaries. No delegate system. No indirect system. Electronic voting for transparency. And then a bar, a limit, such that 2 years before the next election, nobody is allowed to decamp into the party. That way we keep the level playing field for all members of the political party. On top of that, production and so many other things that are entrenched in the constitution of this political party. We need it so that I, as an Uber driver, can run for office. And the laws in the constitution of this political party will not allow me to use public funds for private gains. We can't continue to leave the actions of public officers or elected officials to their prerogative. We have to put laws to guide them. Because power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So you need to put checks and balances. This is where Abundance Party is different. Apart from giving equal opportunities to all Nigerians, it enshrines codes of conduct in its constitution to guide the behavior, the actions of its members. If you're an Uber driver out there, you're a teacher, you're a driver, you're a professor, you are a doctor, whatever you are, and you do not have access to looted funds, and you have ideas, you have integrity, you have capacity to develop this country, to fix this country, Abundance Party is the platform for you. The link is in the description. In particular, Abundance Party is here to ensure, to work with all stakeholders, every other Nigerian, even across other political parties, to make sure that the 2027 election is free and fair. And so to that end, we have another solution. Vote Vision. You may want to also call it Election Guard, but it requires polling unit marshal, so that the polling unit marshal can enter the polling unit results into the application for real-time polling unit results transmission, collation, and display for Nigerians to see in real time, in parallel to whatever we are able to get INEC to do if we succeed to get the electoral reforms. We need the solution for free and fair elections. Remember, without free and fair election, a new Nigeria cannot come. The right leaders will not come. We'll keep complaining, and we'll keep getting the same results. So 2 beautiful solutions, Abundance Party, and then of course, Vote Vision with polling unit Marshal. We need you to volunteer so that we can make this a reality. We have the application already. We need you to test it for us. Starting now, we can't wait until election day. If we wait until election day, it is already too late. Besides, there are other things we need to put in place to prevent pre-election rigging through weaponized impunity and weaponized political parties, weaponized poverty. All these are things that are used to rig elections before election day. We have solutions for them too. But let's focus on these 2, Abundance Party and Vote Vision. Will you volunteer? Check the link in the description to volunteer to be a polling unit marshal today, because the journey to a free and fair election in 2027 must start now.